Everyone here is holding their breath, hoping that we can make it through tonight without any loss of life. But I think it's not early to say that if this is all confirmed, that by tomorrow morning, this will be one of the worst disasters in living memory in Los Angeles in terms of property loss and in terms of the areas affected. Right now, we are looking at over 10,000 homes that have either already burned or that are currently threatened. More than 30,000 people have been evacuated, and that number is likely expected to grow as the evening progresses and as the night progresses, because we are dealing with extremely vicious winds, very critical fire conditions. Earlier, I was near the Pacific Palisades area watching those flames burn, and I saw the smoke erupt from that massive fire as thousands of people were evacuating, getting out of the Pacific Coast Highway of that area of Los Angeles, that upscale neighborhood of Los Angeles. And within a few seconds, I hear yelling behind me. It turns out some embers that can be carried by these winds several kilometers. Those embers had crossed over the Pacific Coast Highway and had lit up a few palm trees and a nearby restroom area by the beach on fire. And immediately there was pandemonium. People that were with authorities that were either media or the fire department had to evacuate from that specific area. So very quick moving situation. Just to give you an idea of how bad things are, the local news stations here in Los Angeles have been in nonstop coverage for almost 12 hours now. And just earlier this evening, the fire department, the Los Angeles Fire Department, asked those TV stations to put out an urgent message to all the viewers, calling any Los Angeles Fire Department officer not currently on duty to report back to their head command to ask how they can be dispatched to fight these fires, because it's not just the Pacific Palisades. In the past few hours, we've seen a major fire erupt in the Pasadena foothills that is about 20 kilometers northeast of Los Angeles. Just to give you an idea, that fire exploded, multiplied by 10 its acreage and fire size within the first 10 minutes.
Indeed, it can go so fast. We're seeing a little bit of the extent of the wind, even with your camera there under pressure. But you're speaking there of the embers that can spark more fires so quickly. It is coming after quite a dry period in California, and I believe the weather forecast suggests the worst may yet be to come.
Yeah, there hasn't been any significant rainfall in this part of the state since last May. So that gives you an idea of how bone dry conditions are here. Fall and winter are typically seasons where you do see higher wind gusts, more wind events like this one, but this is the worst windstorm in terms of wind gusts and wind speeds since at least 2011, and you couple that with, of course, these bone dry conditions, and this is just a recipe for disaster. Of course, as you just mentioned, those embers, anything that can pick up those embers and just carry them several kilometers away can just spark new fires, and that is exactly what's happening. The wind conditions are expected to worsen as the evening and night progresses. The peak of the winds expected to hit between 1 and 6 a.m. Wednesday morning local time. Those wind gusts expected to exceed 100 kilometers per hour, possibly reaching up to 160 kilometers per hour. And, with those wind speeds, firefighters cannot do anything to fight those fires. In fact, they've called off any aerial attack, any aerial water drops or retardant drops for the night because of those evening conditions and night conditions, of course, and those very intense winds. Very much too dangerous to have anybody up in the air right now.
U.S. President-elect Donald